What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. And I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets, receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $320 just yesterday. Another member who won $150 for the 4th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel, the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Luguentz Dort, and this one is actually for points and rebounds combined for 12.5, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Luguentz Dort. We've actually seen him going the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it is going to be a very exciting game, but when we look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, we see that they rank 5th when it comes to points allowed, and moving on to rebounds allowed, we also do see that they rank 8th. So when it comes to this one, a big reason why we do very much like the under for this one is due to the fact that when it comes to Minnesota, they do a great job at actually restricting points and rebounds, not just in general, but also do a great job at restricting points and rebounds to the guard position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at the average over the last 5 games, we've actually seen him average 15.8. Yes, that is above this line, but he did have an outlier game against Sacramento, and Sacramento, do allow a lot of points and rebounds. So we think Luguentz Dort was able to take advantage of that. It's brought this line a little bit too high that now that they go up against a tougher team like Minnesota, we should see him go on the under here. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. I think Luguentz Dort, great player, but I think his usage rate isn't high enough, especially coming into this matchup. We are expecting other OKC players to take more of his usage rate, which could definitely lead him more to the under as well. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for this one. So Luguentz Dort, 12.5 points and rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about their opponent and a player on the opposing team, and that is none other than Mike Conley. So Mike Conley, this one is also for points and rebounds for 12.5 as well, and this one also is for less. So pretty much identical picks here. Mike Conley has gone on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. They face off against Oklahoma City Thunder, and when we look at Oklahoma City Thunder, they rank 1st when it comes to points allowed, and then rebounds allowed, they rank a little bit lower as they rank 23rd. However, the reason why we do like the under for this one is due to the fact that Oklahoma City Thunder do a really good job at restricting, points and rebounds to the guard position, especially the point guard position, which is what Mike Conley usually plays. Now his average over the last 5 is also 13, so definitely not really that much higher than the line, so it's not really convincing to us there. Yes, Conley has had some outlier games here and there, but we think his usage rate should continue to go back down to normal during this matchup, especially against his Oklahoma City team. On top of this matchup, when we look between OKC and Minnesota are a slow-paced team, and on top of that, although OKC are faster, we actually tend to see Minnesota slow down faster-paced teams. So for that reason, coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation, as we are actually expecting, a little bit more of a slower-paced game, which should lead to less volume for someone like Mike Conley in the points and also in the rebounding department. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor. So all signs point towards the under for this one, and for that reason, Mike Conley, 12.5 points and rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson has been playing great, and this one is for rebounds for none other than 6.5. So this one is a great one for 6.5 rebounds, and this one also is for less. Now, when we look at Zion Williamson, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Sacramento Kings. Now, when we look at the Sacramento Kings, we actually do see that when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 12th. So they rank very high, in that top 15, which I think is great to see. But on top of that, we've also seen Zion Williamson's usage rate in the rebounding department continue to fall day in and day out. Yes, against Sacramento, he was able to get 9 rebounds in the most recent game. We think that was a bit of an outlier game. He did get a little bit lucky, but we are expecting, a more probable situation where Zion Williamson, especially against the Sacramento team, who not only rank well in restricting rebounds, but also do a great job at restricting rebounds to the forward position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, his average over the last 5 is 5.4 as well, so significantly below this line. And for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here. Like I mentioned before, when it comes to Zion Williamson, we are also looking at what the bookies are saying, and the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, Zion Williamson, 6.5 rebounds for less, I think is an absolute steal. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Stephen Curry. Now, Stephen Curry has done a fantastic job for the Golden State Warriors, and they have done a great job as Steph Curry has been averaging 23.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6.1 assists, while also shooting 43.6% from the field. So as you all know, Warriors do have a new addition in Jimmy Butler, but Steph Curry continues to play at a very high level, and the Warriors face off in this next matchup against the Houston Rockets. Now, when we look at the Houston Rockets, we do see that when it comes to points allowed, we see that the Rockets rank 6th. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Rockets rank 1st, so they rank very high in that category. And then rebounds allowed, they also do rank 9th. So Houston Rockets rank very, very high in all 3 categories, and for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here, especially for someone like Steph Curry, as Houston Rockets do a very, very good job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the point guard position. So you definitely see Steph Curry struggling in this matchup. On top of that, when we also look further, we also do see that when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, they do have a new addition, like we mentioned, with Jimmy Butler, and Butler has taken a little bit of the usage rate away from Steph Curry, so we definitely see Steph Curry's numbers continue to change. Now, yes, Steph has definitely had some bigger games, do not get me wrong, but I definitely do see that due to the fact, especially in a game like this, where Houston is definitely going to focus a lot of their attention on Steph, that Steph's going to have to rely on players like Jimmy to be able to get the job done if they are trying to get the win. But like I said, win or lose, we are more about the player props, and with someone like Steph Curry, who Houston will definitely put a lot of defensive pressure on and do a great job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, we do very much like the under for this one. Now, we think there's a capability for him to go under in all 3 categories. It doesn't really matter which one you like to choose, but on top of anything else, when we also look at the matchup for Houston Rockets are also a really slow-paced team, and when it comes to Houston, they do a great job at actually slowing down faster paced teams. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this one, and we are definitely liking the one for Houston and this Warriors matchup. So keep an eye out for the under there. Now getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about his former teammate Klay Thompson. Now Klay Thompson from the Dallas Mavericks has been averaging 13.8 points, 3.4 rebounds, 2 assists, while also shooting 42% from the field. So when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks and Klay Thompson, they have themselves a great matchup against Miami Heat. Now, when we look at Miami Heat, we do see that when it comes to points allowed, we see that they rank 7th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Heat rank 22nd, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see Miami Heat rank 25th. So when it comes to someone like Klay Thompson, especially against this Miami Heat team, now Heat do rank pretty average to higher tier in all 3 categories, and for that reason we do very much like the under for this one. But not just due to that, but also when it comes to Klay Thompson, he is a shooting guard, and actually Miami Heat do a really, really good job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the shooting guard position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Klay Thompson going on the under. Now his usage rate, is definitely somewhat decent. It is a little bit more higher in the points, but rebounds and assists not really too high. So I would definitely focus more on the under on those two. But I think either way, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists, we see a lot of value there for someone like a caliber player of Klay Thompson to still go on the under here, as I think Miami Heat are going to rely on a lot of defense ability there. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for this one. So Klay Thompson, keep an eye out for his line. If it is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under there. Again, to the next player, we're going to be talking about Ivica Zubac from the LA Clippers, who has been averaging 15.4 points, 12.7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, while also shooting 61.6% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for none other than the LA Clippers. And when it comes to the LA Clippers, they do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the Utah Jazz. So as you all know, Utah Jazz do rank 28th when it comes to points allowed, 27th when it comes to assists allowed, and then also rebounds allowed. They rank a little bit higher as they rank 6. Now when it comes to someone like Ivica Zubac, we actually see him going on the over here, but I would definitely focus a lot more on points and assists. A reason being is that when it comes to Jazz, they do rank a little bit higher in that rebounding category, so it is a little bit more 50-50. We see more as points and assists of Zubac going on the over, more as a no-brainer, so I definitely would keep more of an eye out for both of those opportunities there. So definitely keep an eye out for the over for Ivica Zubac, especially with a matchup against Jazz, as Jazz are a really fast-paced team. Now, since they are a fast-paced team, what we are also expecting in this matchup is that when it comes to Jazz, they tend to really speed up slower-paced teams. So we see LA Clippers speeding up to Jazz's pace, which should lead to a lot more volume for Zubac in the points, rebounds, and assists category. So, like I said, you definitely want to keep an eye out for his line. There's a lot of value there to go on the over, especially in the points and assists category, so keep an eye out for those too.